Yeah, it's Ken Kraetzer for CBSI Services. We're in New York City today visiting with our new friends at Spent, a new app which can help individuals and businesses manage their expenses, and talking with the CEO founder, Erno Tauriainen. Erno, good to see you.
Good to see you too. Thank you.
Pleasure. You founded this company a couple of years ago to provide effective service on expense management for individuals and companies. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so I was traveling here in the U.S. a lot, and I noticed that my expenses started to pile up, and I started to look for a good product in the App Store at that time, and I realized that there was no good product that could do the expense management for me, and also my background is in retail, so I immediately noticed that there's no connection between retail and expenses. So that's how how the company was started, and 2.5 years ago.
Very good. Now, I understand you've got a couple of versions of the product. It can be very conveniently downloaded. I know on my phone from the App Store. Tell us a little bit about the different versions and how they fit your different customer segments.
Yeah, so right now we have a product called Spend Money, which is for small business owners, freelancers, millennial audience, and we're rolling out 2 more products, which is Spend Travel and Spend Shopping, and the Spend Money product that we currently have in the market. That's a really nice user experience to just link your any credit card, debit card, bank that you have, and start having our product to manage your expenses and earning cashback at the same time, and we are rolling out a corporate version of that, which is for the small companies.
Very good. I know you have different versions of this, and so someone can easily have an expense recording for their personal life or a project, and then another one for their business. Tell us a little bit about how that works, the 2 different both personal and business sides of the program.
Yeah, sure. It's really easy. So you have your personal cards and your business corporate cards, right? So you link them all into the app, and we start to show you a transaction feed, and then you can start swiping left and right. When you swipe left, it means that it will go to a different folder, which is a business folder, and you will get reimbursed. And the ones that you swipe right, they go to your personal folders, and you won't get reimbursed for those.
Okay. And tell us, you mentioned just from your own personal travel, you came up with the inspiration for this. What were some of the steps in developing the program? I know it's live in the marketplace. I tried it on my own phone today, and it looks very useful. But what were some of the steps along the development path for the program?
Well, that's a good one. It certainly has been a journey. So we first started the company with a friend of mine, and we did not have, neither of us has a technical background, so we didn't have any developers, and the first developers we actually hired, they were from Tel Aviv in Israel, and so we outsourced the project in the beginning, and then we moved it from Tel Aviv to Finland, and then we learned that you can't really develop products like this in having them outsourced. So we decided to start hiring in-house team, and this we did about 2 years ago, and now the team has grown to almost like 40 people.
That's great. And you've got this targeted for a couple of different market segments, both a self-employed or for a small business that needs to track better their expenses. Or I think even I do a lot of volunteer work for an organization, and I have to track my expenses on that work. So tell us a bit about some of the different customer segments that this program will serve.
So the biggest segment that we're going after is the self-employed consultants, people who work for either themselves or companies who have less than 20 employees. So that's really the target audience, and we notice that there's a wide space in the market for that. We don't want to go after the big corporations at the moment, but eventually, we're getting already a lot of interest from bigger companies, but at the moment we're focusing on freelancers and smaller companies. And also what you mentioned, that people who work in projects, like if there's like I don't know, some kind of disaster and people need to be sent to a site and they need to book hotels and flights and track their expenses doing that. So this is definitely a good audience for us.
Okay. And we were talking earlier about your work and market research on millennials, some of the younger generation who've grown up with this technology. I think in our vintage, we're all trying to learn it and keep up with it as best we can. But for those who've grown up with available technology, why is this an appealing program to use?
Well, when you look at the millennials, first of all, there's like a big difference in the way they kind of blend their life and work, right? So older generation, you know, we go to a business trip and it's business trip, right? So when millennials, when they look at their trips, they see it as okay, I have some business meetings there, but I can also blend in some of my personal stuff, and that's kind of what we're trying to do, is to help them to manage both professional life and personal life through one product. And you know, obviously millennial audience is a very savvy audience, so they were born with these devices, and they, so the product user experience and all of that stuff has to be really good.
Okay. Absolutely. And you've got an interesting professional background. Got to ask you, started off as a professional hockey player in Europe and North America. Tell us a little bit about how you got into this technology field.
Yeah. So yeah, like you said, I was brought up basically doing two things. My family had a retail business, so they started the business back in the early 70s when I was born, and I grew up in that environment. So I basically started to work when I was at like 10 years old, all the summers and stuff like that. And then at the same time, I played ice hockey, and actually ice hockey was the thing that sent me here in when I was 16, 17 years old, and I ended up in St. Louis, Missouri.
Quite a distance from home.
Oh yeah, and at the time there was no internet, so I couldn't, which was actually a good thing for me, because I couldn't really keep in touch with my folks and friends back in Finland, so I needed to adapt to this American, you know, culture and all that. So that was good for me.
A good experience. And how is it developing a technology product, a consumer product that can be used on almost any cellular phone?
Well, it is difficult. You know, today people are very. I mean, there's like 2 million apps, right, in the store. So people have very short span for, you know, they look at the product for a couple of seconds, and if they don't like the product, they're gonna just toss it away. So knowing that, it has to be really well thought and intuitive, and the branding, everything has to be good these days. And but I would say the most important thing is that it's easy to use. People understand the product right away, and it's easy to come back. So it's like we say in our language, is the sticky product.
Okay, and just to kind of sum up, what would you say is the best reason for a consumer, a small business person, and a self-employed person, or anyone who needs better expense control to go to the App Store and go and find Spent, the app, and to try it out?
It really nails down to two things: to save time and money doing your expenses, and earning cash back from different places, hotel bookings, and thousands of online stores. And now we're introducing also Starbucks to that. So saving you time and money, and earning cash back.
That's great, and it sounds like a very effective and very useful expense control tool on almost any mobile phone. Erno, great to see you and visit with you today.
Thank you.
Our pleasure. This is Ken Kraetzer, and we had a chance to visit with Erno Tauriainen, who's the CEO and founder of Spent, the app, a terrific expense control program you can use and find in the App Store and use on your mobile device. So from New York City today, this is Ken Kraetzer for CBSI Services.